Hi students, now we are going to continue with the last bit of row reduction. So last lesson we have learned how to solve a 2x2 system. And you kind of have seen the most complicated case, we need to change all four numbers to get to the 1001. Imagine you actually need to do it for a 3x3. That means your matrix would need to look like this. 1 0 0 0 1 0 and 0 0 1. That means you have 9 numbers you kind of need to work with. And me personally, even though the state standard requires it, I personally don't see the use or the need of doing a 3x3 by hand. So I am going to teach you how to do it on our calculator. The calculator we use is a TI-84 or TI-84 Plus. So here are the steps. First, you are going to need to write down the augmented matrix based on the question given. Something you need to be careful with. Let's write down the matrix first. So we have 1, -1, -1. Don't forget to draw the line, then -4 in the first row, then 4, -3, 2, 4 in the second row, 2, -2, -3, and -11 in the third row. Something to be careful with. Make sure when you write these things down, your first column is X, your second column is Y, and your third column is Z, and that last column is just some numbers. You gotta line them up like this. If you don't have any of the variables, you gotta put a 0 there. Or some of the case, maybe X and Y are flipping place, the places are flipped. Like for example, I can change this first one to -Y plus X minus Z equals -4. You gotta change them into the order of X first, then Y, then Z, and the number on the right side. Okay, now on the screen you should see a calculator. Here's what I'm gonna ask you to do first. Because you are not sure about the setup of your calculator, sometimes different setups may mess up how the matrix is generated. So first you are gonna click second, and then choose the plus. The reason we do that is because on top of the plus key, you may see the letter MEM. That stands for memory. So first, we are going to clear our calculator so nothing is going to interfere our matrix. So after you click on that, you may see number 7 is reset. So we're going to choose 7. And then we're going to click our RAM. Then we're going to reset. That's going to clear our calculator so nothing is going to be left on there. Everything is back to the original setting. Now let's get to the steps. So after we write down the augmented matrix, we are going to press second and X to the -1 power. So on the calculator, you may see this key right here, X to the -1 power. On top of it, it says MATRX. That means matrix. So we can actually try to get to the matrix with that. Second and X to the -1 power. Now you may see on the top I have 3 different tabs. It says names, then it says math, and then it says edit. We are going to choose edit for this step. Go to edit, and you can see number 1, A is highlighted. Press enter. Now you should see the screen that allows you to enter a matrix. For our specific example, the matrix is a 3x4 matrix. So we are going to type in 3 and then 4. As you may notice, now we have a matrix that is a 3x4 matrix. 3 rows by 4 columns. Your screen may only show 3 columns, but if you use the cursor to keep moving to the right, it will eventually actually get to the 4th column. So that is step 2. Next, step 3. We are choosing the dimensions, we just did that, and we are going to type in the augmented matrix. You can use the cursor or the key enter to move things around. So our matrix, first row, 1, -1, -1, -4. So we have 1, then move -1. Oops, didn't move. Delete. So 1, press enter. -1, press enter. And -1, press enter. Then -4. That's our first row. Keep pressing enter. That's going to go to the second row. 4, enter, -3, enter, 2, enter, and 4. That's the second row. Third row, 2, enter, -2, enter, -3, enter -11. Now we have created our whole matrix. That is step 3. Now after step 3, on your notes, between step 3, I actually forgot something. Because right now we are in the matrix editing screen, we can't actually do any operations with it. Whatever operation we may do, it's going to do it to that position, not to the whole matrix. So we actually need to exit out of our matrix. So here's the next step. We're going to add a step right here. We're going to press second and then press mode. The reason we do that is on top of mode, you may see there's the word quit. So that can get us out of any screen we are in. Sometimes you may accidentally click on, say, like y equals. You can always do that same thing. Second mode, that's going to get you out of whatever screen you are stuck in. So now we're back to our normal screen of our calculator. We can move on to the next step to start performing whatever we need to perform. So step 4. Press second and then choose the matrix again, x to the -1 power, so that we can get to the matrix. But this time we're not getting to edit, we are getting to math, because that would allow us to actually do different operations with the whole matrix. The one we are going to use is actually called RREF. If you remember, in the last lesson we have learned this process that we're doing to solve equation is called reduced row echelon form. That's what RREF stands for. So we're going to go down to find RREF. Right there. Then we're going to click enter. And on your screen, you should see RREF parentheses. Now that means the calculator is ready to do to do this operation to whichever matrix you are going to do it on. So that means our next step, we are going to need to find that matrix we just created. So we are going to press second, -1 again. That is going to give us a list of matrices. The one we just created was named A, and so this time we're going to choose the tab names and then choose that matrix A. So press enter. Now you can see matrix A is inside RREF. That means that we are going to perform the reduced row echelon form operation to our matrix A. So last step, you just need to keep pressing enter, and I'm going to press enter. You will see a result. That is going to be the answer matrix. And our answer, just like our 2x2 matrix solving system of 2x2, is going to be on the rightmost column right here. So our answer is 1, 2, 3. We're not going to write it in an ordered pair, but we are going to still write them inside parentheses. So parentheses, and then we have 1, 2, 3. And that is our answer for that. Okay, so this process may seem a bit long for you. I am going to kind of remind you about how this works again. If you notice, in the whole process, we have done this thing several times. Second, x -1. Second, x -1. Second, x -1. That means we are trying to get into the matrix operation, matrix setup in the calculator. The first time we did edit, which is the rightmost tab. Then we did math so that we can choose the operation we're going to perform. And then we did names. And that takes up the majority of the steps. So write down the matrix and get into the matrix so you can type it in, choosing edit. After that, choose math so you can actually do the operation RREF on our matrix. Lastly, we just need to pick the matrix so that we can perform the operation. So that's the basic process. We are repeating the same thing several times. So that should actually help to be clear, to help you remember the process on the calculator. Now, at home, if you do not have this calculator, if you have this calculator, great. If you do not have this calculator, what you can do for the assignment is to use something called Desmos Matrix Calculator. That will allow you to do something similar, type in the matrix and choose the same function RREF, and then put in the name of the matrix you generated. That's one tool that you can use at home to finish the assignment. Now let's move on to do a few more examples for you to kind of go through that process again. So example 5. I'm going to keep my calculator on the side that I'm not using. So example 5, we are going to start by writing down the augmented matrix. So 1, 1, 1, 2. 2, -1, 3, -7. Then 1, 1, -1, 6. Now it's time to type in our matrix. Since we already have the matrix A, this time I'm actually going to use matrix B. So let's go ahead, second, -1, and let's choose edit, enter. Oh, actually, I'm gonna go back. We're not gonna use matrix A, we're gonna use matrix B this time. So B. And we still need a 3 by 4 matrix. Now it's time to enter the numbers. We have 1, we have 1 again, 1, and then 2. Oh, what did I just do? That's actually a 1. Oh, I accidentally created the dimensions to actually be 14. It should actually just be 4. So let's get rid of that 1. It is just a 4. Okay, 1, 1, 1, 2. My second row would be 2, enter, -1, enter. Oh, let's see. I accidentally did the negative sign. So that should be a -1. There we go. Enter. And then we have 3, enter, -7, enter. Third row, we have 1, 1, -1, and 6. Now, don't forget to get out of the screen so that we can actually go back and choose the operation we want to perform in math. The one we want to perform is RREF. Choose that one. But this time, we're not using matrix A anymore. So go to the names. We're going to use matrix B. Press enter. That's going to give us that answer. That means our answer for this question would be 1. Oops. Our answer for this question would be 1, 3, -2. That is example 5. Moving on, let's keep practicing more of that process. So, example 6. Let's write down the augmented matrix first. We have -3, 3, 10, -29. -2, if you didn't notice, there is no y here, so we're going to need a 0 for the y. Then the z stays -1, then -6. 2, -3, -5, 15. Now let's type in that matrix in C. So let's do the process. Second, -1, and go to the edit, choose C, and it's gonna be a 3 by 4 again. So enter. Now it's time to enter the matrix. -3, 3, 10, and -29. Second row, -2, 0, -1, and -6. Third row, 2, -3, -5, and 15. After we finish putting it in, second quit so we can get out of the screen. Then we can choose the operation, which is in math, RREF. Enter. This time we're going to choose matrix C. That's the one we just created. Press enter. We got the answer, which would be 4, 1, -2. That is example 6. Now we have 2 more examples we are going to practice. So example 7. Let's see. Let's write down the augmented matrix first. -5, 1, 3, -9. 2, -6, 6, 30. -1, 2, -6, and -6. Now let's put it in for D. So second matrix, we're going to choose D. And it's again 3 by 4. Let's enter it. -5, 1, 3, -9. That's my first row. Second row, 2, -6, 6, and 30. Okay, third row, -1, 2, -6, and -6. Quit out of it. So we can choose the operation, which is under math, RREF. But this time, the matrix we're going to choose is matrix D. Enter. That's going to give us an answer of 0, -6, and -1. That is example 7. Now we have the last one, example 8. Same thing, let's write down the augmented matrix. And again, you got to make sure you have x and y and z. First row, -5, -3, 3, 18. Second row, we don't have an x, so it's got to be a 0 for the first position. -1, -3, 21. We have 4, -3, -1, and 11. Let's type it in. And this time we're going to type it under E. So second, -1, edit for E. Still a 3 by 4. Now we can type it in, -5, -3, a +3, and an 18. 0, -1, -3, and 21, second row. Third row, 4, -3, -1, and 11. Get out of it. Use the function under math, which is RREF. Then we're going to choose matrix E. Press enter. That is going to give us the final answer, which is -3, -6, and -5. Of course, with the method, now we can actually deal with a 4x5 matrix, a 5x6 matrix. You can solve any of these systems. But that's how we can use a calculator to solve the bigger system equations using matrix. That is everything for this lesson. Thank you.